Hello folks, I'm getting ready here for our first of 3 major trips this season here. We're leaving in a couple of weeks for the Long Trail, doing a through hike from the Canadian border right down to Massachusetts, 272 miles. And I just want to show you what we're going to do for food here. Actually, what I've done is I've figured out our mileage with our food drops, and over here I have everything all sorted out as far as our resupplies go. And up there are the containers. Now, first, when we leave Journey's End, which is a Canadian border right here, we will be leaving with a food bag because we need to go over. We have some big peaks up north. The first big peak will be J Peak, and then we got to go over Camel's Hump. So I want to make sure that section we have light packs. So I'm not going to take the beer canister. That will be a little further down. But first, when we leave, we'll be again using a food bag, hanging our food. And I have figured 52 miles between when we start in our first food resupply, which will be in the town of Johnson. And we will have there a mail drop, because the trail's only a couple of miles from the town, and there's a post office there. There is a supermarket too, but I think I'm just going to take my food and then maybe pop in there if I'm short something or missing something. So we'll do a food drop there, and then the next section is 37 miles to Jonesville, which is Route 2, and that will have my car there, so we'll be able to resupply there for the next section, which will be this box at the end. From there, we're going to drive south and stash our box canister at another trailhead, which will be another 50 miles. And that will get us to Killington. At Killington, I will have my car repositioned at Killington. At that point, we can put the third box will be in my car, with enough food to get to Manchester. Manchester, there's a supermarket, and we will resupply in Manchester, utilizing whatever we have left over here and supplementing our supply through the supermarket there at Manchester. And at that point, we would have already positioned the vehicle at the southern end of the trail in Massachusetts. So we're going to walk into Manchester and resupply, then get back on the trail and hike south. So that's why I only have 4 supplies here. The 5th supply in Manchester will be store-bought, just to fill in what we need. And we'll have the beer canister, because we're going to pick the beer canister up further north, so we'll be carrying that, or possibly leave that in the car when we do our resupply at Killington. We can leave the beer canister and then go back to the bags. That we can decide on later. So the food, typically the first week, I really don't have, my appetite doesn't really kick in until the second week. Then I start getting hungry. So what I've done is, we have 50 miles to do, but I always take an extra day's worth of food just in case, you know, weather or physical, we run into a problem, we're out of shape, and we need to just do a couple of Neros, or, you know, if we slow down by a day, I'll at least have food. So my food, this is my breakfasts here. There's almost 1,000 calories in my breakfast. I have found over the years that you cannot skimp on breakfast. You got to have a good breakfast, and you feel good. You're awake. You try to stage your biggest climbs for in the morning, and you know, with a good load of protein and you know, your minerals and everything to keep your body going. Your morning is going to be your best productive part of the day. So again, I have these between 900 and 1,000 calories, and what I have in here is a Carnation instant breakfast. They're like 300 calories right there. I have a hot chocolate mix. That's another 150 calories. I have Nido powdered milk. That's another 150 calories, I believe. Powdered milk. Nido, Carnation. I have a package of oatmeal, which is another 100 calories. I have nuts in here. I have sunflower seeds. I have craisins. What else is in here? I think that's about it. Anyway, well, I figured it out on paper. It's depending on like the nuts and all that. The almonds, I have almonds in here. You got to have some almonds too. I mean, they give you good energy. So that's what I have for my breakfasts, and I eat this cold, just cold water. I don't do any cooking in the morning. No coffee. I don't need coffee. And so we'll take off with that. So these are my breakfasts. And then during the day, I allow myself 2 bars. 1 bar in the morning, midway, and then I have another bar in the afternoon. So I basically pack 2 bars a day. And then I also take a whole stick of chocolate here. So if I need to have a boost in the afternoon to get up over a hill or something, I have something right here that will help. And then I've been also using these here Gatorade energy chewables, so they'll be in my pack in case I need it during the day. Not every day is different. Some days will be mostly flat. Some days, you know, the inclines will be a little softer than other days. So that's tough to really figure out. And then for lunches here, I'm going to have wraps. I bring a whole package of wheat wraps, and I change that up every day. And I have crackers. I have a tube of honey. I always bring honey. Olive oil, that will go into my lunches, but then I usually mix it up with peanut butter or these Reese's spreads with chocolate and peanut butter. You have this with crackers, or you have it with a couple of wraps. So that's going to be my lunch for the first week. And then I have chips. You know, I usually bring the larger ones, but I think on this trip, just because of room, I'm just going to go with a small one. I have a few of these here and there during the day. I know that's not going to last a week, but and I may not have them every day. So at least I have a little something for salt and potassium. Chips are the best. And then for dinners, I have, now these here are typically, each one of these are really made for 4 meals. You can get 4 servings, so I figure each one of these bags I cut in half. In the past, I used to try to eat a whole bag here, or Knorrs, or Idaho potatoes. It's just too filling. So this year, on this trip, we're going to cut each one of these packs will be 2 meals. So I'll have 2 meals out of Idaho, 2 meals out of Knorrs, and then 2 meals again out of the other Knorrs with the shells. And then again, you supplement it with olive oil. You put olive oil in there, and especially like the rice, I could have it with a wrap. Oh, I had a timeout here on my recording. The only other thing I need to get is some summer sausage. I forgot. I'm looking for a small one for this particular week. I have it over here, but I have to. I got to go out to the store later on today and get one here. So I can add sausages, summer sausage, into my dinners, and I can have it also for lunch if I want. This is what I do for lunch, and then I also during the day I've been reading about lemon. Lemon juice is a super additive that you can add to your water as you're drinking during the day. I'm not going to go through the whole list. You can look it up, but just look up lemon juice. And so I'm going to be doing this year too. Drinking lemon juice only with my when I filter water. And then I also have on my trekking poles, I have 2 liters that I usually carry, and I use Propel and vitamin C. And then I also the electrolytes here, Noon's electrolytes. I'm very big into that. I've gotten dehydrated too many times, so I've learned my lesson. I drink a lot. And then down here, I have my little bag here of spices, Italian seasoning, pepper, sea salt, bacon bits, minced onions. You add all this here to your lunch, to your dinners, or maybe you sprinkle a little bit on your wraps. But this is something that I do now, and it really takes the monotonous out of your meals, and it's very light. It only weighs 3 ounces, so you have a whole assortment of things there. Then my toiletries right here, I keep that with the food bag, and then I have my Tums. Because some of these meals here, you might have a little problem. And then in the evenings, or even during the day, if we get hit with rain and I get chilled, I have some tea. I have just 2 teas, 2 coffees, and I have 6 packets of hot chocolate. I'm big into the hot chocolate because it gives you energy, it warms you up. So I load up with hot chocolate. So I have one per day. If I don't need it during the day, I usually drink it after dinner while we're sitting around. I'll have my hot chocolate. Okay. I'm not really big into coffee. I'll have coffee, but I don't need it to survive. So that's basically my 6 days worth of food here. Oh, again, this is my bear bag hanging stuff right there. And then I have my trash bag and my long-handled titanium spoon. And then I always carry 2 spare caps. These here go on my smart water bottles, and they break. So you always got to carry a spare. And then I've had these here break on me too. You drop the bottle and the head breaks, now you're screwed. So I carry 1 extra cap, and just because I've had problems in the past and they weigh nothing, so I just keep that in my food bag as a safety. And so this is basically how I'm going to do the rest of it up there. Obviously, when we leave Jonesville, we will pick up my 4 days of food here to get down to Jonesville. There's Johnsonville and Jonesville. Those will be the towns that we'll be hitting first. So I just thought I'd let you see this and give you some ideas. Let me show you how I set up all my trips. Takes a little time, but I do this with everything. I like to know what's coming up, and so what I do is I figure out the mileage per section. I have everything marked off in sections, town to town, how many miles, and then how many days of food when I leave this town, how many days of food I want to be carrying. So, I mean, you can copy this if you want, I don't care. I have the towns here, the mileage, like I said. This all adds up to 272 miles, I believe. And then here are all these here, I add 1 extra day of food to each one of these. So really, I mean, if you know you're not going to be delayed, and if I have an extra day's worth of food when I get to the resupply, especially here where we're going to have our car, here where I'll have my car, because I got to move the car down to Killington, so I can always take out a meal or two if I have extra, which works out good. I like having my car every 100 miles. It really works good. So I'm gonna leave my car here. We're gonna get shuttled up to here. Excuse me, I'm leaving my car here. Then we're gonna get shuttled up to here. We'll hike down to my car. Then we're gonna move my car down to Killington, and we will get shuttled back up here 100 miles, and then we'll hike down. And then when we get to Killington, I'm going to move my car down to Massachusetts, and then we'll get shuttled back up to Killington, and then we'll hike down from there. And then we'll do a food resupply in Manchester here. We'll do a food resupply with whatever I have left over. We'll supplement whatever I'm missing at the market, and then we'll hike down into Massachusetts. So that's the best scenario. It works out very well. We need to do 2 shuttles, and they're already lined up. So with tentative dates, because it's really, the first one's easy to figure out the date that we're going to get there. But the Killington, I had to give them, a couple of days leeway. So I will call them as we get closer, and we can schedule a pickup. Okay. So and then the map. What I do is where we're doing the food stops, I have them marked, and just so at a quick glance, I know, like if we're over here, then I know roughly how far we got to go. So it's easy to look at on a map here. Okay, so that's it. We'll keep you posted on our progress as we hit the trail. Oh, and then over here, later into the trip, the resupplies, I go alcohol. So I have my alcohol resupplied already in here. This is 14 ounces, this is 12 ounces, and I'm starting off with 16 ounces because that bottle is going to get me through the first week, and then I could pick up alcohol probably in Johnsonville, but I'm just going to carry it. I have 4 days. That's all. I use 1 ounce per day. So it's only 4 ounces, so between the 2 of those, I'll have enough fuel in that bottle to carry me over into there. And if I am short, I can pick up a bottle of heat at any gas station. Most places you can get alcohol. Even 90% rubbing alcohol will work. So you can get that at any pharmacy, most stores, even gas stations will have little bottles of alcohol. So I'm going to go with that. That's my best. My wife's trying to talk me into going with the canister, but I like to know how much fuel I have. I can never figure out how much fuel I have left in my canister. And all right, so be back here when we